Farley, Ford CEO. Thank you so much for being with
Sure,
us today.
of course. Happy to be here.
So big announcement.
Yeah.
Ford is coming back to the Formula One.
Yep.
Ford has a lot of history in Formula One.
Yes.
I remember the
Mostly good.
DFB, right?
Oh,
that
yeah.
Cosworth
Sure.
engine probably.
Walter Hayes. Thank you, Walter Hayes. Yeah, he's a PR guy who came up with the idea to fund Cosworth. And
Yeah, in the 60s and 70s, probably the
Yeah.
best engine
For
ever
sure.
in history,
Yeah.
winning for
even
2
in
decades.
IndyCar, we and sports car racing
Uh-huh.
around the world. Yep.
But Ford had been out of the Formula One since
Yeah.
2004, almost
Yeah.
20 years.
We're not going to do it like back then. I think times have really changed. You know, our objective is not to own a team or have a full powertrain program. In 26, things changed so much with this low carbon fuel that we want to be a tech partner in powertrains with Red Bull. We want to go to the front of the pack. We've learned that in Formula One. Like, you're going to go to Formula One, you know, you want to win. And we think that this team is the right team to bet on. But we also can learn a lot from Formula One, share our battery technology, share our battery control software. In exchange, we get things like aero. Turns out, in the EV world, aero becomes super important, much more important than internal combustion engine, because we can shrink the size and cost of the battery. And the best aerodynamicists in the world are in Formula One. So this is a very practical, you know, exchange of technology, and, you know, who's better to promote your EVs than these three fantastic drivers?
So Formula One is changing a lot.
Yes.
2026, new
Sure.
regulations, is becoming more sustainable. It's gonna be, let's say, more level. Where do you see Formula One in 3 years from now? And why now? I mean, is the perfect moment for Ford to be
Yeah.
coming to the Formula One?
I think, you know, first of all, I think Liberty has done a really good job making sure that with cost caps and all the things, technology, standards, that the sport is getting, you know, more of a meritocracy, which is good. And so I hope that that continues. We hope to join the sport at a time when, you know, everyone has a level playing field. Why now? A number of things that you could almost not predict came together. You know, 26 standards.
Who approach who?
It's a good question. I would say we approached Red Bull in the end, but they were like thinking about approaching us, so it wound up being totally natural. When Christian met Bill Ford and myself and Mark Rushbrook, it was like a really natural discussion. Why? We'd done our research for 2 years. We had met with almost every team, almost, you know, every program, and we just didn't feel like it was right. And this was the first time we were like, yep, check, 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 check.
And obviously, the popularity of Formula One in the US has
Yes.
been growing exponentially in the last
Sure.
3 years. Everyone talks about the
Yes.
Netflix show.
Yeah, thank you, Sean Bratches. Yep, yep.
That was also part of the Ford the decision to come
No,
back, or
actually, when we looked at this 2 years ago, that was kind of in infancy. That happened while we were kind of going through this. And, you know, it's a cherry on the top. It's great to see. But Formula One's always Formula One, right? And we're a global company, and it's great it's growing in the US. We're a #1 brand. We have the highest employment of any company in the US in auto. And so it makes sense now. It makes even more sense now than it did 2 years ago. But this is something we've been working on for a while.
So why a big manufacturer like Ford would spend a lot of money, because Formula One is expensive.
Yep.
What are the benefits, and why do you think some brands are there and some others they are not?
You know, I can't talk about other companies, but here's why it works for us. If you take a F-150 Lightning, if you live in the US, you know about the F-150 Lightning. If we optimize the aero on that truck, we could probably get 75 more miles of range. And if I kept the range the same, that's probably $3,000 of cost in the battery. So aero winds up being hugely important, much more important than an internal combustion engine in the electric world, because the battery is so expensive. And no one has better aerodynamicists than Red Bull. So if I wanted to get the best aero people in the world, I'd have to recruit them from Red Bull or Ferrari or any of the top teams. So for us, it's just kind of a practical thing. We need expertise like Aero, and they will never have the resources like Ford to do cell chemistry for batteries, the control of software of the battery in terms of energy management, output, energy density. It's a very complicated thing. We have to solve that for millions of vehicles in different conditions, and that software know-how is very valuable to them, as is the battery know-how.
Mr. Farley, thank you so much.
Sure,
Congrats on the announcement. Exciting times for the industry and Formula One.
Good for Ford. Thank you.
Thank you.